I know not everybody is into minimalism, and I know not everybody cares about their phone or technology usage, but I want to ask you to consider something just for a moment. I need you to be honest with yourself. If you frequently find yourself thinking, saying, or making the excuse that you don't have enough time, I encourage you gently to take a look at your screen time. I know, at least for Apple products, it's super easy to check. It's in your settings. I even have it as a widget on my home screen, so it should only take a moment to do this. After checking, I want you to reconsider that excuse that you don't have enough time for whatever it may be, whether it's catching up with a loved one, or re-engaging in a favorite hobby, or getting a bit of exercise in. If you feel like you don't have downtime for those things, or if you feel like you don't have time to engage in your hobbies or to do something that you want to be important to you but has fallen to the wayside, then this might be for you after all. I read the book Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, and today I want to give a report after completing the book's 30-day digital declutter process. First, I want to read the definition of digital minimalism according to this book. This is a philosophy of technology use in which you focus your online time on a small number of carefully selected and optimized activities that strongly support things you value, and then happily miss out on everything else. I love this definition, and even more so after doing the 30-day declutter. So basically what this 30-day declutter entails, and I will read from the book about that as well, is letting go of every technology you possibly can. So what the book defines or suggests is that you take a break from optional technologies. Now, of course, everybody has their own definition of optional. We all have different things that we say, okay, I really need this, but maybe it's not so much a necessity. What the book says is that a technology is optional unless its temporary removal would harm or significantly disrupt the daily operation of your professional or personal life. And that's a good way to put it. Obviously, a lot of us use technology for our work, and working remotely, that's especially true. I couldn't just give it up altogether. So you do have to set boundaries for yourself and make your own list of the technologies you use, go through that and determine what is actually optional for you. That's the first step, is to define your technology rules for this 30-day declutter. I listed out all the technologies that are optional in my life, like YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Amazon, other shopping websites, Instagram, Reddit, Peacock, things like that. A key distinction to make is don't confuse critical with convenient. Yes, it's convenient to just look something up and have maybe a YouTube video pop up, but can you find that information elsewhere? So your step 2 is to take a 30-day break from those optional technologies. In the past, I have taken breaks from social media, but it's always been just Instagram and Facebook mainly. Because YouTube, I just see differently. It's not really the same thing. I'm not following people that I know and seeing just daily posts from them. I'm using it more as entertainment and learning about things. So I never included YouTube as something that I would exclude. But this time I did. So this is what made this 30-day break different from other breaks I've done in the past. A key thing to do before you start this is to make sure you have a plan for other things to do to fill in that time that you would normally be spending on the optional technologies or social media. For example, for me, I needed a couple things on Amazon. I also went ahead and ordered myself a Kindle because one thing I really wanted to get back into was reading. I knew that I could read on the Kindle app on my phone, which I usually do, or did at least, but getting the Kindle I knew would be easier on my eyes. It's something I'd wanted for a long time, and this digital declutter really pushed me towards doing that. So I did buy the Kindle, and I did allow myself access to that, even though it could be considered an optional technology, because my rationalization was that if I had access to a library here where I could get physical books, then I would definitely be taking advantage of that. But since I don't, I just decided to allow myself the Kindle because it would still be reading and engaging in a hobby that I feel is more aligned with this digital declutter, because I would definitely be reading physical books if I had them. So that's my justification for that one technology I allowed myself. I mean, of course I allowed myself everything I needed to do my work. I allowed myself to check my email. So once this 30-day declutter started, it was a little bit hard at first, filling in the blanks of time when I normally would be listening to a YouTube video. That I think was the hardest one. Now I just had that time alone with my thoughts, which is something the book highlights is something we're missing in modern day life. We always are trying to fill in the silence. We go in the car, we turn on the radio right away. Or I remember as a university student, I would put on my headphones between every class just to walk between classes. And there's sort of this lack of alone time with our own thoughts that can be detrimental to creative thinking. Having time alone with your thoughts can lead to a lot of things coming up. And one thing I noticed was that besides missing the YouTube videos, besides missing that little entertainment while I was cooking, I just had to focus on the task at hand. And besides that, one thing I also missed was this superficial, I guess, connection I have through posting on my close friends story on Instagram. I don't really post on social media that much, but I did like posting for close friends, just things that were happening throughout the day or some question I wanted to ask just people I know. I did start to miss that, but what I did when I started to feel the urge to want to post is that I just started to journal. I just started to write down in my journal. I have an entry that just goes, I am feeling the urge to post on my close friends story, so what I'll do instead is just journal. So that is what I did when I felt that need. And of course, when my husband was home, if he's not at work, then I could just talk to him. That always works too, That is more actual connection. Because I think social media in general is just very superficial in terms of connection. So basically, I went through these 30 days. I went through this break from technology, and I actually ended up going over 30 days because it just became my new normal. Honestly, I've read more books this year than I've read the past 2 years combined, which I'm really proud of. I used to be a really avid reader as a child. My parents found me reading the dictionary one time, and I missed that. I missed reading. Also, when I got my Kindle, they gave me Kindle Unlimited free for 3 months. So one problem I was having is I didn't feel like I could justify paying for fiction books. I wanted to pay for books that I felt would be helpful in some way, like nonfiction. So I didn't buy any books on Amazon that were fiction. So anyways, with the Kindle Unlimited, I read a lot of fiction books that went a little bit faster than some of the nonfiction ones. At the end of the 30 days, what you have to do before you end it actually is figure out your new technology rules before reintroducing those. The main question to ask yourself, according to the book's guidelines, is does this technology directly support something that I deeply value? It has to serve something you deeply value, so you really have to think about your values. Offering some value towards achieving one of your goals is not enough. It has to be the best way to use technology to serve that value. And if it's not the best way, then replace it with something else. And also, if a technology is going to be reintroduced, it should have a role in your life that is constrained within a standard operating procedure that specifies when and how you use it. Now, I know people who don't like rules are probably saying, this is too many rules to live by, and yeah, I get it. But I think we were meant to have rules. I think it's good to have guidelines in place in life in general, and especially around technology, because it helps sort of set apart, okay, this is my time maybe I have for social media. This is the rest of my life. It's not something I'm just checking on every single moment, every single free second of the day. I think it's good to have rules. I defined things that I value, for example, staying connected to family and friends, learning about things that interest me, and I went through the optional technologies. I determined if they actually suit that. So the first thing I wanted to do when I got back on social media was to go through my friends list and my following list, because I think the easiest way to adjust what you're seeing is to adjust who you're seeing posts from. So I went through Instagram. That's the main place where I see random things, and I just unfollowed all the accounts from people that I didn't know in person, like if they're just influencers or people. I just unfollowed them because a lot of the people are people that I already subscribed to on YouTube. So I was like, I don't need to follow them on Instagram too. And secondly, I unfollowed people that if they were someone that I didn't know personally, if it was an account like that, I unfollowed them if they didn't offer any value. So there are some people I still follow, but it's because they're offering some sort of educational value to me. And I also unfollowed or unfriended on Facebook. This goes for Instagram and Facebook. Those are the two main ones I talk about because I don't really use Snapchat anymore. That has been long deleted since my phone has been running out of space. Same goes with like Pinterest. I don't really do anything on Pinterest. Reddit, I sort of just set this rule for myself that I just check it if it's something I could get advice from. That's one reason I like Reddit. If I Google search something that's very specific about advice for a certain situation, oftentimes a Reddit post will come up. I like seeing other people's experience. Like for the passport video I just did, you'll notice that I mentioned Reddit because that's where I saw a lot of people's timelines. That's where they shared them about how long it took them to get their passport back. So anyways, I find it helpful for things like that. But I limited it for myself to that. I don't have to scroll and see any random things that are on there. Just gonna use it to go to when it has advice that would be helpful. And then, okay, going back to Facebook and Instagram, I went through my friends list. I started unfriending people because I realized, if I see this person in person, I'm not gonna say hi to them. They're not gonna say hi to me. Why should I be friends with them on Facebook? And secondly, I unfriended people that I honestly couldn't remember meeting. I think I'd already done that a while ago though. So there weren't many of those people left. And I just decided to just keep going through my friend list like that. And I also I haven't done this yet. I still want to make groups when I do post something. I want to make groups for relatives, close friends, people that I actually know better, if there are people I don't feel like I can unfriend. And I set a rule for myself that I can check Facebook weekly or bi-weekly. And also, if I see any posts from pages that I liked in the past, just unfollow the page, unlike the page, because I don't really care about that anymore. Instagram, I also decided to, as I mentioned, unfollow a lot of people, but also mute people that I may know, may actually talk to if I see them. So I don't want to unfollow them, but I decided just to mute those people. If there's anybody that makes me feel some sort of way, if someone makes you feel like you're not good enough or something bad, just mute them if you don't want to unfollow them altogether. That's what I put for myself. And I told myself I'll just check Instagram weekly. And I don't get lost in scrolling through shorts or what's it called? Reels on Instagram. I don't do that anymore because yes, every once in a while I would find something funny. I would find something interesting, but there's so much scrolling. Those rare instances of enjoyment are actually far and few between. Now, of course, YouTube was the hardest one for me. I always made exceptions for this one. And I just decided to unsubscribe from channels that aren't edifying, that made me feel like I need to buy stuff or that make me feel any type of negative way. And also I have to be honest, I have not kept my rules for YouTube. I try to just keep it to watching 2 to 3 times a week, catching up on channels I'm subscribed to. That has not exactly happened. I'm trying. I also wanted to try to get away from feeling like I have to watch every single video for a channel and head more towards looking at a video, deciding, is this something I actually really am interested in, or am I just going to watch it because I'm subscribed and I just want something to fill my time? Overall, I did end up going over the 30 days, just by a couple days. It has really become my new normal. It's not normal for me to have apps for social media on my phone. Actually, I hardly have space to have them now. That really helps not checking them. I think taking a step back from social media kind of made me realize how weird of a world we've created. First of all, why do I feel the need to post? That was something I sort of started to evaluate. Why do I feel the need to post everything that happens in my life on Facebook or share every single good picture I've taken on Instagram? I just made the decision. I decided, okay, I don't have to post all this stuff. On the flip side, I also found it strange thinking about what entitles me to this information about other people's lives. For example, if someone posts about their child, they post everything. They post their weight, the exact minute of their birth, and their full name. And I'm just like, what entitles me to this information of this person that I've talked to maybe just a handful of times in my life? I love that they're sharing this. I think people can share whatever they want. For myself, I don't know if I would share all that information. Taking a step back is always good. I think it's good to reevaluate and think about, is this something I actually value? And think about, does it deserve a place in my life, or are there other things I can fill my time with that would help me achieve my goals, help me to live the life and become who I want to be? And with that, I will end today's video. I hope this has given you some food for thought. I highly recommend the book Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.